Yeah, hi guys, good morning. In today's session, we'll discuss about Docker. So we'll discuss about containerization and virtualization and what are the benefits with the help of using Docker, and we'll see the architecture of Docker. Okay. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So we
Yes.
have a tool called Docker. Any idea what is Docker? Have you heard about this?
It is one of the
Apart from
DevOps
our
tools.
self introduction. Okay. Yeah, so we have heard about Docker in our introduction, right? So self intro as well as a part of DevOps tools. So Docker is a very powerful tool for container. Okay, so Docker is a very powerful tool for containerization. What do you mean by containerization? What do you mean by container?
For storing purpose.
Yeah, so we have see the containers in the shipyards, right? So if you'll see this, let me open Docker container. Okay, so this is how the image will looks like. See, what is this? This is the example of container. So in general, why do we use containers to store or to store any particular resource or our application? I mean, in terms of Docker, we use containers to store our applications. When it comes to our real life example, so container are used to store lot of stuff, right? So it can be any related to clothes or any shopping materials or whatever it might be, and that will be transported from one country to another country. Okay, so in Docker, I mean, we call Docker as a containerization tool. So before containerization, we have something called virtualization. This is the latest technology. Okay, so prior to this, in terms of deployments or in terms of our software development process, we were using virtualization. Okay, so we have something called virtualization. What do you mean by virtualization?
In a machine, we are using another machine.
Yes, so inside one machine, we are trying to use the same hardware and we are trying to use another operating system. Okay, so virtualization versus containerization. This will be asked in interviews for sure. What is the difference between virtualization and containerization? If you'll see the example of virtualization, if you'll see the example, we have our Oracle virtual machine, VirtualBox. So what is this? This is the example of virtual machine. Means inside my Windows operating system, I have created or I have installed Oracle virtual machine software, and this virtual machine or VirtualBox software, what it is doing, it is helping me to set up one more operating system, that is Ubuntu. If you want to use Windows, then also I can create new, I can select the image and I can set up one more operating system. If I want to set up Linux, I can also do that. This concept we are calling as virtualization. Now, what are the disadvantages of virtualization? Means, why did we move to containerization? There might be some disadvantages. That's the reason we have moved to containerization, right? So first, let us focus on the difference. Here, if you see this, for example, I want to create one operating system. So what I need to do? If suppose I want to create one Ubuntu operating system inside my virtual machine, what I should do? I should have the image of the operating system, right? So I should click new, and name can be Ubuntu, for example, 23 version. And here I should select the ISO image, means out of which image I should select this. See, here we have the AMI ISO file, which is having my operating system. So once I'll select this image, then I should go to next. Let me do this. Okay, let me go. I should do next. Then we should configure the usernames. Next, and here what I am trying to do, I am trying to define how much capacity it should be provided to my virtual machine. Means it should use 2 core of CPUs and around 2 GB of memory. That's how I am trying to configure. So from where it is trying to capture my process and my memory? From my Windows machine, means from this machine. Where is my computer? From where it is trying to capture? From my operating system. From this PC, show more properties. From this particular 16 GB of hardware, means this is 16 GB is dedicated to my laptop. From this 16 GB, it is trying to capture some specific memory to my virtual machine. So I am having a single hardware and trying to divide for multiple operating systems. So that's the process of virtual machines. So as per this this diagram or this image, right? So what we need to have, we should have image of the operating system. Means one point is virtual machines or virtualization are dependent on operating system. Means without operating system image, you cannot create your virtual machines. Yes or no? Agree?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Others, this is very important, guys. This will be asked in interviews. I cannot just simply write down all the differences and proceed with the implementation. No. Whatever I'm trying to write, that should be proved as well. So virtual machines are dependent on operating system. Without operating system image, I cannot provision my virtual machine. That's one thing. And the second one is virtual machines will take long time to start up and shut down. Means if suppose I want to launch or start this Ubuntu 22, which is already available, if I'm clicking on start, so what is happening? It is taking some time to provision, means it will take some boot up time. Similar to our laptop, even our Windows will take some time to start and shut down, right? So it will load, it will take some time, means there is a lag of at least 1 or 2 minutes. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So it is taking some time to start and shut down. That's one thing. 1 second, guys. Let me switch off my WhatsApp. Yes. Apart from this, what else we have? Virtual machines. Size is very high and it is not flexible to from one environment to another environment. Means if you see the image of the virtual machine, okay, if you see the image of this operating system, okay, what's the size of this Ubuntu image?
4 GB.
4.69 GB.
69
It's
GB.
almost 4.5 GB, right? So when we have a capacity, I mean the image size is very high. If you want to move this image to another environment or for another user, so what will happen? It will take a lot of time to upload and download these images. Yes or no? So these images are
Yes.
not at all flexible. We cannot easily move this from one environment to another environment. These were the problems related to virtualization. That's the reason we have moved to containerization. Means, if I am talking about containerization, containers are independent of operating system. Means I mean no need to download any operating system. These are independent images. They don't have any operating system. That's one thing. Containers will be very fast to start up and shut down. Means it will start within a fraction of seconds. Within fraction of seconds, containers will be started as well as it will shut down as well. Apart from that, container size is very low, making them flexible to move one environment to another environment. Okay, the size of containers are also very low, which will help us to easily move them from one environment to another environment. So these are the differences between virtualization and containerization. I will set up this and I will try to prove this as well. Okay, so for now we don't have any containerization configured, so we'll discuss about these 3 points after some time. Before moving to that, so do we have any so what is the important tool what we are using for containerization? Means we have seen one tool, that is Docker. Apart from Docker, do we have any other tools for containerization?
Kubernetes.
Kubernetes is for orchestration.
ECS.
ECS is also for orchestration. We are talking about containerization, means Kubernetes and what we call our ECS we use for orchestration, means to manage these containers.
Okay.
So we have containerization tools, like we have seen about Docker. We have one more tool called Podman. We have LXC. So these are the 3 different tools which are available in the market. But out of these 3, Docker is very popular. So we are going to use
Docker,
Docker.
Podman are different.
Docker is different, Podman is different, LXC is different. So these are 3 different containerization tools. Means with the help of these 3 tools, you can create containers. Okay. So now let us see the architecture of virtualization and containerization. Is this clear, guys? This part. Docker is very simple. We
Yes.
have around 15 to 20 commands, that's it. For example, let me first talk about virtualization. Okay, so this is virtualization. and here we have our containerization, means this is nothing but our EC2. Okay, so any EC2, it can be Linux, Ubuntu, any EC2 container. Okay, so in our EC2, so what will be available initially, will be having our, what is available? Infrastructure. Okay, this will be our infrastructure. And then what is available? This is nothing but our operating system. On this hardware, what we'll try to configure first, we'll try to set up our operating system, right? So this 16 GB in my computer, for this 16 GB of hardware is available infrastructure. On this infrastructure, I have installed Windows 11. This is nothing but our operating system. Okay, and then for virtualization, we have the software called virtual machines, and this software is using the technique of hypervisor. So what is hypervisor now? We have the technique called, we use hypervisor. Hypervisor is nothing but a software which will help us to create multiple virtual machines. So what I have did, this is my 16 GB. This is my Windows. This is my virtual machine. Our virtual box, whatever we have used, and by using this virtual box, this is my hypervisor. Okay, so by using this virtual box, what I have did, I have set up one operating system. Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Okay, so here so which image I am using right now? Ubuntu, right? So if suppose I want to use Windows as well, I can configure Windows. If suppose I want to configure Linux, I can configure Linux. Okay, and then here what will be having? We'll be having our binaries or libraries, means the softwares which are required to run this operating system, right? So we'll be having our binaries or libraries. We'll be having our binaries or libraries. And here we will be having our applications deployed, app1, app2, and app3. Okay, so this is how the virtualization is set up. Means we are having 16 GB of hardware and then Windows operating system. Then we have configured hypervisor, and with the help of this hypervisor, how many virtual machines I have set up? I have set up 3 different virtual machines. One is Ubuntu, Windows, and Linux. And these 3 virtual machines, I am trying to deploy my application, 3 different applications. So by using same hardware, we can deploy multiple applications for multiple operating systems as well. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
In our case, as of now, in our case, I am having only one image. Okay, that is Ubuntu. Assume that if you want multiple images as well, yes, we can do that as well. But whereas for containerization, So we need to configure containerization. Okay. So as part of containerization, what is available here in our infrastructure, we have 16 GB, and then we have our Windows, same Windows. And as part of containerization, what I have installed? I have installed Docker. So we can either install Docker or we can install Podman or LXC. Okay, and then I am having 3 different applications. For example, app 1, app 2, 3. And here what is available? We have the binaries or libraries required. Means there is no operating system here. There is no operating system available because containerizations are independent of operating system. This is what we have discussed. So these containers, whatever container you want to create, whether it should be Ubuntu container, Linux container, or any Apache container, Tomcat container, or Nginx container, you just need to run your command and it will help you to run your container and you can deploy your application. Now how this container is communicating then? If there is no operating system, then with whom it is trying to communicate? Here if you'll see this virtualization, here we are having the base operating system as Ubuntu, means our application is communicating with the Ubuntu. Here there is no base operating system. So whatever operating system we have configured, right? I mean, whether you have Windows or Linux, for example, let me make one change. Here instead of Windows, what I will do is, instead of Windows, we'll try to configure Linux. Okay, so I'm trying to set up on Linux operating system. So our containers or our application will try to communicate with this operating system, means with the kernel of this operating system. This kernel will be shared with our containers. So these containers will be directly communicating with our operating system kernel. That's the reason we don't need any operating system for these containers. The communication is happening with the base operating system where you have installed or set up your containerization platform. On which machine you have installed Docker, that operating system will be used to communicate by these containers. Clear?
Yes.
Clear.
Okay. So now let us try to provision one Linux operating system and check this out. Okay, so first let me shut down this. I don't want these virtual machines. Okay, I'm trying to launch one image. I mean one EC2 instance with the base image as Amazon Linux 2. Okay, T2 micro is okay for our experiments. So key is backup server. VPC, let me use default VPC only. Existing security group should be default. 8 GB is okay, and launch instance. So what I have did, I have just set up one instance for my containerization. I'm trying to set up my Docker inside this AMI. Okay, so let it start. Okay, so this is my EC2 instance. Now what I need to do, I need to install Docker in this Linux operating system. So how to install Docker? So we are having our operating system Linux. Now I want to set up a containerization platform. So how to do this? We have the command called yum install Docker and hit enter. Yes or no? Yes. Then it will try to install Docker in my EC2. Installation process is very straightforward, guys. Just we need to use m-y install Docker. Okay, that's it. So once done, let me check Docker version. Here you can see Docker version 20.10 has been downloaded. Clear how to set up this?
Yes.
Now I want to start my service systemctl status Docker. Then you can see that this is as inactive. How to start?
Systemctl
start Docker.
Docker.
Okay, now if I see the status, then you can see this is as
Run.
run. Our Docker is up and running, means now we can run our containers. Container will have our application. It can be any image. Okay, so now what I will do? Now I want to provision one Tomcat container. For example, all these days what we have did, if suppose you want to install Apache, so what we have did m-y install httpd. Or else if you want to set up Tomcat, it was very complex process, right? I mean, we should go to Google, we should check for Tomcat, we should go to this downloads file, we should install Java, we should download this, we should start the setup file. If I'm using containers, so I can just execute docker pull Tomcat. Docker pull Tomcat. So what this command will do?
Tomcat install.
It will pull the image of your Tomcat. For example, before executing this, let me show you something. Docker images. Are we able to see anything?
No.
No, right? So here we have some tags. I mean, some column, repository, tag, image ID, created, size, that's it. But nothing available in this. So for example, I'm executing docker pull Tomcat. Hit enter. So what is happening? See, something is happening on the screen, right? It is trying to download. Yes or no? It is trying to download some image. Okay, here you can see downloaded newer image for Tomcat latest from so and so URL. Means the moment I have executed docker pull Tomcat, what happened? It downloaded my Tomcat image. But from where it downloaded? From where it downloaded this image?
From the libraries of Docker.
From the
Libraries of Docker.
not library of Docker, from Docker Hub registry. So we have something called Docker Hub registry. The moment you execute Docker pull, right? So for example, this is my operating system. Okay, here I am trying to execute the command called Docker pull any command. It can be related to any image, for example, HTTPD. So this is my laptop. What is happening? Our request is going to Docker Hub registry. Docker Hub registry. So our request is moving to Docker Hub registry. In this registry, we have all the images: HTTPD, then Nginx, Tomcat, Jenkins. N number of images are available in this Docker Hub registry. So what will happen? It will go to this particular registry. This is a public registry, a public repository, I can say, similar to our kind of GitHub, but GitHub is used to store source code and Docker Hub is used to store our images. Okay, so it will go to this Docker Hub registry. It will check, okay, HTTPD, so it will pull the latest image to our laptop. Understood what happened? It went and it checked to the registry, and it was searching for the image called HTTPD, and it downloaded that image in my laptop. I mean laptop in the sense where I have installed Docker engine. So if I'll execute Docker images now, you can see there is one image called Tomcat. And the tag is latest. From this is the repository name called Tomcat. Tag name is called latest, and this is the image ID. This has been created 4 days ago. 4 days ago means not in my, I have pulled just now, but this has been uploaded 4 days ago in this repository, means in Docker Hub registry here. Okay, on the central repository. And the size of this image is 455 MB. For example, let me pull one more image, Docker pull Ubuntu. What is happening? Let us see. Okay, so what happened? It downloaded the image called Ubuntu and Docker images. You can see Ubuntu operating system size, I mean Ubuntu operating system image size is 77 MB. For virtualization, what was the size?
4.6
Four-
GB.
4.6 GB.
4.5.
This was 4.6 GB. Now it is 77 MB. We have proved this, right? Yes or no? The size is very low.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Still, we need to work on these 2 points. Okay. So, what is happening when I am trying to execute Docker pull command? It is going to something called Docker Hub registry, and it is checking over there. If that image is available, then it is downloading. For example, how to list the Docker images? How many images are available? How to list? With the help of the command called Docker images. With the help of the command called Docker images. For example, I'm trying to execute Docker pull Jenkins. This is one CI/CD tool. So I'm trying to download the image of Jenkins. Hit enter. So what will happen? Earlier, what was happening? When I executed Tomcat, when I executed, say I have executed Docker pull, where is that? Yeah, I have executed Docker pull Tomcat and I was able to see Tomcat image. Okay, when I have executed Docker pull Ubuntu, I have seen that it was able to pull the Ubuntu image. But when I'm trying to pull Docker pull Jenkins, it is throwing error. See, using default tag called latest, error response from daemon. Daemon means Docker, this one, Docker container. Okay, So manifest for Jenkins colon latest not found, manifest unknown, manifest unknown. So what happened? Why it is not able to pull the Jenkins image for me?
Jenkins not in the Docker repository.
Okay, let us check now. Okay, so Ramya said that Jenkins is not available in the Docker repository. So
Sir,
let me,
Shravani said.
sorry, dockerhub.com. This is nothing but our registry. Okay, so Docker Hub. If I'll click here, hub.docker.com, this is nothing but our registry. Means whenever I am executing Docker pull, it is going to this particular registry, right? So this registry URL is hub.docker.com. So here if I'll search for Tomcat, hit enter, sorry, Tomcat and hit enter, here you can see Tomcat image. And also you can see a lot of Tomcat images, Tomcat, similar to our AMIs. What was there in AMI? AMI was a combination of software which will help us to create our EC2 instance, right? So here also you can see, I mean, if you see this star, right, so it means that this is the official image provided by Tomcat vendor. You can see tick marks in Instagram, right? If someone is very popular, that's their official IDs. Means they are operating that. They are maintaining that account. Anything, any post or something happened from their account, then they are responsible for that, right? So similarly, we have this marks for our official images as well. Okay, so whenever I was trying to enter Tomcat, then it was coming here, it was opening this Tomcat repository. So this is the name of my repository, and from this repository it was going to the something called tags. Here if you see this Docker images, okay, so repository name is Tomcat and then tag is latest, right? So here it is going to this tag and it is trying to download the tag called latest. Here if you see this 4 days ago, that's the reason we are able to see 4 days ago. And this is my image ID. If I'll open this, where is my image ID? If I'll click this, do not worry about the screen. Okay, so do not worry about vulnerabilities and all. We are going to discuss this as well, but not today. So do not focus over there. I just want to show you the ID. Okay, where is ID? Okay, I'm unable to find this. So let me try to do inspect. We can also get that with the help of inspect, but not now. Okay, so what was happening? So whenever I'm trying to execute Docker pull, it was coming to this particular account, I mean Docker Hub registry, coming to this repository called Tomcat. From this, it is trying to download the image called latest. If suppose I want to download Tomcat image with different version, means I don't want to download the latest image. I want to download some old image. Means I want to download this. I want to download 7.0.59, which has been pushed 9 years ago. So what I can do? I can use Docker pull Tomcat colon and then you should pass the tag name. So what will happen now? It will try to download the image with the old tag. Okay, so if I'll do Docker images, then we can see Tomcat from repository and the version is this. Means you can have different version of images, right? So what I have did, I have downloaded a specific version with the help of colon and tag name. You should always pass tag name. When I was not passing tag name, what was happening? Docker pull Ubuntu. So here if you see this latest, means if you don't pass the tag name, it will try to download the tag called latest. See, using default tag latest. If you are not passing any tag, then it will think and it will assume that it should download the latest image. Clear?
It will also download Java also defaultly dependencies.
We'll come over there. Okay. So what I mean, what we are trying to do is, if you are not passing any tag name, then it will download the tag called latest. If you don't pass the tag name, if you pass the tag name with different version, then it will download that image only. So here in Jenkins, what I have been doing is docker pull Jenkins latest tag, latest not found. So let us go to Jenkins now. Okay, so this is my official Jenkins image. So if I'll open this, so here it is coming over here, and then it is going to the tags, and it is trying to check the tag called latest. Do we have the latest tag?
No.
So that's the reason we are able to see this error that latest not found. Means you should have the tag. Without tag, it will not download. If you are not passing, then it is assuming as latest. But if the latest is not available in Docker Hub registry, then how will it download? There is no scope to download, right? So this is what happening with Jenkins. So what I should do now? I should pass the tag name as well. You should check. Say Docker pull Jenkins 2.60.3. Paste here. Hit enter. So what will happen now? It will download from Docker Hub registry from Jenkins repository, and the tag name is 2.60.3. Understood? Guys, yes or no?
Yes.
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 Now, how to check the images? By using Docker images command. So why do we need this image? Why should I have or download these images? Why should I need image?
Deploying our application.
So if you want to create one container, right? So container will be created with the help of Docker image. Means to create one container, you should have the base template or the image. For example, if you want to create one EC2, what is required? If you want to create one EC2, what is required? AMI. So we need AMI. With the help of AMI only, we can create EC2. Without AMI, can we create EC2? No, right? Similarly, if you want to create container, you should have one image. Okay. Remember this point for now. We'll add some more details to this point in coming session. Okay. So for now, remember one thing, that if you want to create any container, then you should have the image. So from where we are able to get all these images? From Docker Hub registry. Yes, that is a public registry. Okay. So now, if suppose I want to delete this particular image, I don't want to keep this image. Why? Because it is consuming 350 MB and I'm not using this image. I want to delete this. So what we can do? Docker RMI. Okay, Docker RM is the command to remove. I is for image, and then which image you want to delete. Tomcat. Here we have two tomcats. See, tomcat, tomcat. So you need to specify the tag always. This is one of the good best practice, guys. Always try to specify the tag. Do not just use Docker pull tomcat. No. Try to add tag as well. Okay, so what I have did now? I have deleted my image called tomcat colon 7.0.59. From where? From my local machine. Docker images. See, that image is deleted. So if you want to delete image, you can use a command called docker rmi and then the image name and the version which you want to delete. This will be asked in interviews. I have seen this question in a lot of interviews. Okay, just try to add I. RM is used to remove. I is for image. That's it. Docker will be used for every command. Means whatever you want to perform the operations in Docker, you should add Docker. That's it. Okay. So now we have got this image called Tomcat, latest, Ubuntu, and Jenkins. Now, for example, let me try to pull one more image called Docker pull httpd colon latest. HTTPD image means our Apache image. Okay, if I do Docker images, we can see that there is one image called HTTPD which is available. Okay, now I want to run this image, means I want to create one container. Image is nothing but a set of instructions. I mean, whatever software is required to create the container that will be available in the image. Means in this HTTPD image, there will be some base operating system, the software related to our Apache service, and the default deployment. Okay, now I want to run this image. How to run this image? So for that we have a command called docker. Before running, let me show you this. Okay, docker container run command, or else we can use docker run as well without using container, but always use container. Means we should be aware what we are trying to do. So always use docker container run and then image name. Image name, not service. This is my image colon latest. I'm trying to tell my Docker that to run one container with the help of this image, because here we have 4 to 5 images. Hit enter. Something happened. See, something happened. I can see some output, but my cursor got stuck here. If you'll observe, I don't have cursor now, means I cannot execute any other operations. If I want to enter one more command, then it is not possible because my cursor is not available. Yes or no? Can you observe this? My cursor is not available. See, I don't have any shell now. Let me show you one more thing. Let me connect from here. Sudo su. Now if I'm doing docker container ps, so what this command will do, this command will help you to get the running containers. Can you see this? Docker container ps command will help you to get the running container, means whatever containers you are running. You can see this. Here you can see that one container is running with the specific ID. The image what we are using is httpd colon latest, and this is the command which has been executed. How much time this has been created? About a minute ago. See, I have executed just now, right? So about a minute ago, and the status of this is up and running, and the port number it is using it 80 and this is the name of my container, means it is trying to add some random name. Okay, Now, if I do curl localhost, fail to connect, could not connect to server. This is not connecting, means I am unable to connect to my container. Ignore this for now. Do not worry about this. Okay, so just focus here. So if you want to see the running containers, then you can execute the command called docker container ps, and then you can see all the details. My container is up and running from last 1 minute, from last 2 minutes. Okay, so what happened when I have executed docker container run httpd latest, so it captured my shell as well, means it is running here. I'm unable to execute another command. So what I will do now, if I want to come out, I will use Control C. I don't want such case where my cursor will get stuck. Means I want to run this image. Apart from running, I want to execute some other operations as well. I cannot every time go and open one more terminal, right? I will not be using one more terminal each and every time. So I want my container to be executed in the background. I don't want this on the foreground. Here, if you see this is running in the foreground, on the front face itself. I want to run this container in the background without disturbing my regular operations. Clear? Now, if I'll do docker container ps, see what happened. There is no container running. Just now we have seen that one container was running. But if when I am trying to execute docker container ps, what happened? My container got stopped. We have one command called docker container ps-a. This command, what it will do? It will show you the exited containers running as well as exited containers. Means ps command will be used to show the running containers. ps-a command will help you to know the exited containers. See, it has been created 4 minutes ago, exited about a minute ago when I have executed or entered Control C. So there is a problem if I am trying to run my container in the foreground. I should always run my container in the background. So what I can do, I can add one parameter to my container. Okay, so docker container run -d command. -d parameter. -d is nothing but daemon mode or for background. What it will do, it will try to run my container in the background. Same command, we are just trying to pass the parameter called -d. Hit enter. See, something happened and I can see my cursor is back. Now if I am doing docker container ps, then you can see 7 seconds ago, this is my container id. See, similar to our GitHub ID, right? So we have one container ID. This was the image which was used. This was the command which has been executed. Okay, 8 seconds ago. From where this command has been executed, we'll discuss about this later. Okay, status is up, port number is 80, and this is the random name which has been assigned to our container. Now we can do our regular operations. See, docker container ps, it is still running. Docker images, it is also available. So always use -d parameter. Always use -d parameter. Understood? Fail to connect. So if I'm trying to connect to my container, I mean I want to access this Apache. So what happened? Docker container ps. We can see one container is running, which is running on port number 80. Yes or no? Can you guys see this?
Yes.
If I'm doing docker container ps-a, what will happen? It will show you the running container as well as exited container. This was our previous container which has been exited 3 minutes ago. This is my current container. If I use ps, then it will only show you the running container. ps-a running as well as exited container. Okay. Now, if suppose you want to remove this, you don't want to keep this to free up some space. Docker container rm and then container id. Just copy this id, paste, hit enter. Mistake. Now if I'll do docker container ps-a, then you can see only running container is seen. This one has been deleted with the help of this command. Clear? Why there is pin drop silence? Unable to follow or
Yes,
unable to
clear.
understand?
Yes, clear.
It's clear.
Okay, so now we can see that there is one container which is running on port number 80. Now I want to access this container. So how can I access? Means I want to access my Apache page. So if I'm using Apache image, there should be some default deployment running, right? So how to access? How to access? No. If you have installed Apache in your server, how will you access?
If it is public, then I will be using my public IP.
This is also
Or-
public EC2 only. Okay, so this is running here. Okay. So normally how are we going to connect? With the help of the public IP and then port number.
Port number.
But here not secure, means I am unable to access my website. Why?
Because it is running in Docker.
What is happening is this is my EC2. And inside this EC2, we are running our HTTPD image. Okay, this image is exposed on which port number? As per these details, port number 80, right? Means this image, this is my container port number, means this image is listening on port number 80. So this is a user, and the IP address for this EC2 is 192.168.0.1, for example. So as a user, what I will do, I will open my browser and I will try to 192.168.0.1:80. I'm trying to access this. So where this request is going, this request is connecting to this particular EC2. And on this EC2, port number 80 is free. Here if you see, netstat-na pipe grep 80. Nothing is listening on port number 80. See, port number 80 is free. There is no service running on port number 80. So I will not be able to access this page. Means there is no service. Our service is running inside this Docker image. If you'll see this Docker container ps, okay, Docker, okay, our service is running on port number 80 for this particular container. Okay, now the request should be reached to this 80 if you want to access your deployment location or else your deployment page. So what I need to do, I need to configure port mapping. So what I will do, I will configure port mapping. For example, port number 81. So I will tell my EC2 wherever our Docker is installed, to any request which is redirecting on port number 81 is okay, port number 81. Instead of 80, I'm using 81 so that it will be easy for us to understand. Okay, any request which is trying to come on port number 81 on our EC2, it should be mapped with this service. It should be redirected to this particular port number 80. This is how we need to configure now. For this, we use something called port mapping. Port mapping means I am trying to map my EC2 port with the image port, sorry, the container port. Okay, so now how can I execute my command? Means I should run my container with port mapping. So what I am trying to do is docker images, docker ps. So this is my one container, right? So I want to run one more container now. I want to run one more container with same image. So docker container run -d. Why should I use -d? To run this image in the background, sorry, container in the background, right? -p I'm using for port mapping 81. So which port? This one is, this port number belongs to our host port, means EC2. Host is nothing but the machine where we are trying to run this command 81:80. To which port it should map? The container port, that is 80. And then httpd:/latest. Understood what I am trying to do? Earlier I have executed docker container run and then the image name. We were facing issues because the container was running on our screen and our cursor was not available. In order to overcome that, what I have did, I have used -d. -d is nothing but background. It will help you to run your container background, and this issue has been resolved. Now I am unable to access my application. For that we should use port mapping. Port mapping, what it will do, it will try to access all the requests on your machine that is coming on port number 81 to redirect to port number 80. So this is different image and I'm trying to run one more container now. Okay, enter docker container ps. What it will do, it will help you to know all the running containers. See, 64b, this is my latest one, this was my previous one. This is of no use, means I cannot access this to the outside world. So now what I have did 4 seconds ago, here you can see the difference. Port number 81, any request which is coming on port number 81 is redirecting to port number 80. Now if I'll try to access port number 81, this request should be redirected to the httpd image. Okay. Now if I'll do this, for example, netstat-na pipe-grep 81. See, on port number 81 something is listening now. Because this port is in use. This port is in use now. Localhost :81. It works. See, this will be the response of our application. This is our deployment file. What is happening? Why it is not accessing? Let me check the security groups if port numbers are open or not. Okay, this is HTTP, right? I'm opening all traffic, save rules. Now if I'll refresh this, you can see it works. Got it?
Yes.
Yes. So we should always use -p parameter. Docker container run is the command which will help us to create one container from the image. Container run is the command is used to run one container from the image. -d parameter will help you to run in the background. -p is for the port mapping to expose your container to the outside world. Now, if I'll see this, guys, someone go on mute. Docker container PS. Here, if you'll see, guys, someone go on mute. Okay, so here, if you'll see this, it is trying to add some random names. Let me clear this. Let me add this. Okay, name, see, confident underscore spans, eager underscore stone breaker. I don't want this random name, means I want my own name to the container. I want my own name to my container. So how can I do this? I can use the same Docker container, because this is the command -name. Techie underscore test. Now see what happened. I am trying to execute the same container, Docker container run -d -p 8180, same image. Just I am trying to add one parameter, but it is throwing error. Why it is throwing error? Read this. Read this and let me know what happened.
Port is already allocated.
Yeah, port is already allocated, so we cannot run multiple services on same port. Right? So what I will do, I will try to use port number 80, because 80 is not in use, right? Hit enter. See, one more container started, but something happened, it got failed. Here if you see this, see, error response, means the parameter what I am trying to use for name, right? So this is not right. I need to check this parameter. Okay, first we need to pass the name of the container and then the image name. Okay, so if I'll do Docker container PS, then there is no image running on the port number 80. So -name test.techie, and then we should pass the image name. http://latest is the image. Now if I'll do Docker PS or Docker container PS or Docker PS, you can use any of them. Okay, here you can see on port number 80, and the name is techie underscore test, means we can customize our names as well. Sorry guys. Understood? Now if you'll access your application,
Yes.
if you'll try to access your application on port number 80, sorry, not 81, port number 80. See, on port number 80 also it is working. We are having same image, just running on different port numbers. Clear? Docker container PS. Now, for example, yes, do you have anything? Now, I want to change my deployment location. Means I don't want this file. I want to change my deployment file. How can I do that? Where is my Apache Tomcat running? My Apache Tomcat is running inside this container. So I need to get inside this container now. I need to go inside this container. So how can I go inside this container? And I want to deploy my own file. So let us try to do that. So we have one command called docker container exec. Exec is nothing but execute. -it. It is nothing but interactive terminal. Okay, IT. This will be asked in interviews. What do you mean by -itd? These three things will be asked in interview. What do you mean by -it and d? I means interactive, T means terminal, D means daemon or foreground, sorry, background. Okay, so to which particular container you want to log in? I want to log into this container with this container ID ECA. and then you need to pass the shell. It can be any shell, bash or sh, whatever it is taking. Hit enter. See what happened? OCI runtime execution failed, unable to start container process /session means there is no such shell available. So I am changing the shell to bash. There is no such shell called bash as well. So I'm using bin.bash shell. Now I was able to successfully log in. See, now I'm inside my container. You can see this, the terminal has been changed. See? root@ECA user local Apache 2. -IT, what is -IT doing? -IT is doing helping you to communicate or provide one terminal for you. This one, whatever we are seeing here, right? So this we are able to see only because -IT. If you don't pass -IT, what will happen? It will be a black and white screen. You cannot see anything. It will connect, it will log in, but you cannot see anything. -IT is used to interactive terminal, means you want to communicate with your container. Okay, so always read for the errors. Means do not expect that you have logged into the container, just try to read the output, what it is throwing. Okay, now we have user local Apache 2, and then where can I find my deployment file? File/name. Permission denied. Here we have something called index.html under htdocs cd htdocs ls. Okay, so this is my deployment file, cat index.html file. See, this is our default deployment file. Now let me edit this. vi not found, vim not found, nano not found. Why? VI editor is not working, VIM editor is not working, nano is not working. You cannot expect all your commands to be working inside these containers. Means there are a lot of softwares which are not available inside this container. Okay, there are a lot of softwares which are not available inside this container. So you cannot expect everything to be working for you. Now let me do one thing. Let me just remove this index.html. Welcome to. I'm trying to add. This will also work for us, right? It will create one HTML file. Right, welcome to Techie Horizon. So I have changed the deployment file. If anything is not working, for example, netstat, this is not working. So you need to install netstat packages. Okay. So let me first try to check this. See, welcome to Techie Horizon. So this is how you can make the changes. Means you need to get inside the container and make the changes. So how to connect inside, how to go inside the container? By using docker exec-it command. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
For example, now I want to install any package. ps-ef is also not running. Apart from this, containers are very fast, yes or no?
Yes.
It has started within fraction of seconds. We haven't did anything, just run the container and our application is up and running. And these are independent of operating system, means we are not worried about the operating system and all. We're just downloading the image, running the container, that's it. Okay, now if you want to check which base operating system this Apache image is using, we have etc os release. What this file will contain of, this will have the complete information of your operating system, right? So this Apache image, whatever we are using, is been configured with the help of this Debian. This is the operating system of the image. This is the base image, I can say. Okay, so now based upon this Debian, okay, so which commands will work? apt update. See, now it is updating my image. Why? Because even this is an Ubuntu based image only. apt is working. If I'll execute them, command not found, because this is not the actual repository what it will check, go and check for. So if you want to install anything, apt install git. See, git will be installed inside this image now, inside the container. So whatever container we have created, right? So inside this container, I am trying to create or install git. So first you need to check the operating system, and based upon that you can execute your regular commands. Even if you want to install netstat, right? apt netstat. apt netstat is not working. Let me check these commands. Sorry, I need to know the package name. Okay, here we have this command, and I should use this. So let me try this. Now if I do netstat, this is working now. So this is how you can set up. First you should check for the base operating system, whether it is Linux based or Ubuntu based. Based upon that you can try to install your configurations, whatever you want to install, or else it will not work. Most of the times there will be a lot of missing dependencies. You need to set up everything as per your requirements. Okay. Exit. If you want to come out of your container, then you can exit, and if you see the status, your container is still up and running. Okay. Here you can see something called in command. If you can see httpd for foreground, what do you mean by this? Or else images. Here you can see httpd image. Do we have nginx image? No, right? Docker. Now I want to run one container. -itd. -it means interactive terminal, D means daemon or foreground. -p, I want to run my container on port number 80. Okay, and the image name should be nginx latest. Will this work for us? Will this command work for us? There is no image called nginx here in our local machine. In our local machine, there is no image called nginx. Will this work for us? If I am trying to run one container with the name called nginx, will this accept or not?
No,
Why?
as you have to run background.
Background I'm using here D. -itd is interactive terminal, D is daemon, P is port mapping, means I want this to expose on port number 80, and I want to run my container with the help of this image. This image is not available in my local. So what will happen? If any image is not available in the local, what will happen? Will my container
Won't run.
get it? Sorry, what you said?
We'll go to check in Docker Hub and then download it.
In Docker Hub, that image is available.
You can able to download.
let me try to execute and see. So it is not mandatory that all the images whatever you want to run should be in your local. No, it is not mandatory. If I'll execute this command, first it will try to see unable to find image nginx colon latest local image. It tried to check here. It is not available. Then what it did, it is pulling from the library, means it has downloaded the image and then it has started my container. Understood? So it is not mandatory that it should be available in local. Now if you will see this, nginx is downloaded, and if you see the docker ps, you can see nginx image is running. Okay, so even if this image is not available in the local, if it is available in the docker hub, it will first search for your local machine. If it is not available, then it will connect to Docker Hub and it will try to download and run the container. Clear? Now, if I'll try to access this on port number 82, we can see Nginx image. See, welcome to Nginx. Understood? For example, you have one EC2 which is in private subnet. You have one EC2 which is in private subnet. You want to run one container with the image called Nginx, and that Nginx image is not available in your local machine. What will happen? You have one EC2 which is in private subnet and you want to run one image called Nginx. That image is not available in your local. So what will you do to run that container? If you execute Docker container or Docker pull, that commands will work or not work. It will work for you or it will not work for you. Will that command work for you or it will not work for you? Guys, there is no internet on the server. You are trying to execute Docker pull command. Will it work?
No.
Then now I want to run my container. So what should I do?
Set up NAT gateway.
I don't want NAT and all. I want to run my container on the EC2. I don't want to set up NAT gateway. Here only you can get your answer. Means you should move your file. I mean, you should use any technique and move this image in your local machine. Once you have your image in local, it will not go and check to the internet. It will not connect to the internet, right? If it is available in the local. If this image is available in local, then it will not connect to internet. There is no use of internet.
How we
Maybe
can
port
look up?
mapping. Maybe.
Port mapping and all. See, if you don't have internet access, even if you I try to, I mean, if you'll expose this on port number 82, that's of no use. My requirement is I don't want port mapping and all. I didn't ask for port mapping. I just said that I want to run one container where there is no internet and the image is also not available in the local. What should we do? Do not overthink. Just stick to the question. That's it. I'm not asking about port mapping and all that stuff. I'm asking you to run one container where there is no internet. If you have this image in local machine, then no need to connect to internet. That's it. There should be some technique to move this image, right? There should be some technique to move this image. Means we have couple of commands called docker load. Okay, we have command called docker save. We'll talk about these commands in coming session. Okay. For example, I can see Docker images. We can see 5 to 6 different images. Now I want to know the complete detail of this image. For example, let us start with this Docker container PS. Here you can see Docker -entry point command, HTTPD foreground. From where we are able to see this? I haven't executed any of these commands, right? But still, why we are able to see this on the screen? Means I want to know the complete details of my image. So we know that okay, there is one image I'm trying to download and run my container, but I want to know the details of my image as well. Docker inspect and then the image name latest. So what is happening? See now. So we have one command called inspect. This command can be used to our image, and this command what it will do, it will help you to get the complete details of your image. See, this is the ID, this is the repository tag HTTPD latest, yes or no? This is the same tag, right? And this is the comment, something what the developer who has developed this Docker image. Okay, and then see port number 80. This is what we were able to see on the screen, right? See port number 80. So they have configured that this image should be run on port number 80 only. This image should be run on port number 80. Okay, and these are the environmental variables. See, user local Apache 2. This was our deployment path. Here you can see cmd httpd foreground. Cmd is nothing but command, means because of this cmd we are able to see this. Okay, and then we have, see, this is the architecture. I mean, this is the operating system details which is being used by this image. Clear? So if you want to know the details of your image, what command you can use? Docker inspect and then image name. If you want to use nginx later, but why do we need to check all the details? Why should we check these details? These details will help you to understand lot of things, guys. As of now, this is very blank for you. Okay, you are not able to understand what is available, what is not available, but hopefully in coming sessions this will be very clear for you. Okay, means what we have did, we have used the existing images, we have used the image which has been created by someone else. In tomorrow's session, what we'll do, we will be using our own image. Means I want to create my image from scratch and use that image for the deployment. I don't want to use any existing images. Okay, so how to do that and all, we can see that in tomorrow. Apart from this, Docker container PS, remember this command, Docker inspect command is very important. Means there are 3 containers, sorry, there are 4 containers running, right? So for these 4 containers, do we have the IP address? Whatever container it will be running, there will be one IP address. Yes or no? For every container, there will be one IP address. So I am not aware of this IP address. So how can I get the IP address? Are you guys aware of the IP address? If you see this, our localhost, you can see welcome to Techie Horizon. This is been fetching from this particular container, right? Now, this is not exposed to outside world. This container is not exposed to outside world. But I want to get the details of this container, means the deployment path of this container. How can I get that? By using, if you use Docker inspect and then the container ID, this will help you to get all the details of your container as well. Inspect can be used for images as well as containers. See, here you can see a lot of details. Docker inspect and then this is my container ID. See, this is my container ID F04, F04, right? This is the path. Status is running. This is running. Okay, and then this is my image. This is the name of the image. Eager underscore Stonebreaker. Eager underscore Stonebreaker. Okay, here port bindings. Did we did any port bindings? No, that's the reason it is empty. Port bindings is empty because we haven't did any port mappings. Okay, now if I scroll down here you can see the IP address path. This is the IP address of my container. Means for every container there will be one IP address. This you can consider as the private IP. Private IP cannot be accessible from the outside world, right? So this is my internal one. Okay, means I am inside my network 80. See, it works. Now this is working for us. How to access? With the help of private IP, means with the help of IP address and then port number. This can be used if it is not exposed to the outside world, or else Docker container PS. Now let me see this 80 because 80 is exposed to internet, but still I want to access with the private IP, means our container IP. Inspect, enter. Here if you'll see expose port is 80, and then where is the port bindings? See this one, port bindings. See 80. Okay, so we can get all the details if I'll do inspect. Now the IP address is 0.4. Now if I'm doing curl IP address 80, you can see welcome to Take a Horizon, right? That's how we can access, or you can test. Earlier curl command was not working, but now this is working because we are trying to access with the help of private, I mean the IP address of my container. So every container will have one IP address similar to every virtual machine. Clear? Yes or no? Containers Docker is very easy, guys. Just you need to understand some basics. Okay, so you need to understand the commands, how they are working, how to check. Okay, how we can see whether it is running or not, how to stop, how to kill. Docker container PS. Now we can see that okay, there are some containers which are running. Now I want to know the logs. I mean, I want to see the logs of this container. For example, for now this is 12 minutes ago. This is okay. This is running. If suppose the status is failed, if the status is not running, then how will you check? How will you understand what happened to your container? With the help of logs. Docker container logs and then container ID. Hit enter. Now you can see all the logs related to your container. With the help of these logs, you can understand what is happening. Say configuration complete, ready for startup. Here I can see something happened, failed, but still this is accessible. 24, 27, 38. 404 not found. What is the error code? 404. This is my public
Page
IPC.
not found.
44, yeah,
Page not found.
44 to 33, 33.21. This is nothing but my public IPC. This is what I have executed on the browser. Everything is been captured inside these logs. Always make a habit of checking logs, guys. It might be very confusing for now, but as we progress, you will, you will be easily understanding all these logs. Out of these logs, always we should, for example, you have got these logs, right? So what you need to do, copy, just check for error. Okay, check for error from this particular file. Okay, or else check for warnings. Warnings can be ignored. You should only focus on errors, and you should check the timestamp and which date this has been happening. This is what you need to focus on. Once you focus on this, then you will get a direction what needs to be done. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. I think we are good for today. Let me stop this recording.